I think once you nail the right coil and the right liquid and the right airflow configuration, you will not put this down. Guaranteed. What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Friday Vape Club. As always, your host Squidly, back for another review for you. Today we are looking at this. This is a little single coil RTA from Oxva. This is the Arbiter Solo. So the benefit of this little thing, or I guess the appeal of this, is that it will do a mouth to lung, but also a direct lung or a restricted direct lung setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive down, we're going to take a real quick look around this thing, and then we'll jump back up top here and I will tell you my thoughts. I will give it a rating. Best device ever, worst device ever. Yeah, let's get into this. All right, here we have a closer look at that Arbiter Solo from Oxva. So I'm going to put some specs on the screen right here, and let's take a quick look around this thing. So up the top here, you do have a 510 drip tip. It does come out just like that, so you can fit your custom drippy tippies in there if you so desire. I actually really like this one. It's a very comfortable drip tip, especially if you are using this in mouth to lung configuration. Right here, the feature, or the main feature of this Arbiter Solo, is that it does a mouth to lung and a restricted direct lung. So you can switch between the two by simply grabbing the top and twisting. So now it is in mouth to lung, and now it is in restricted direct lung. And what that does is it changes the airflow, switches some stuff inside the chimney section here, but we'll take a quick look at that in a minute. To fill this thing, you just grab the top, twist, and you expose your fill ports. Some pretty big fill ports. The O-rings, a very nice tight seal as well. Buttery smooth threads. Here is your airflow configuration. So you've got these stepped down sort of circular holes. You've got one big long sort of cyclops style open airflow slot on the AFC that you can adjust and change, so you can really tailor in that airflow. Now if you do find that you're wanting to run a little bit more airflow than this, or a little less airflow but a little bit more airflow than that, never fear. On the back you've got a single airflow hole, and what you can do is you can use this airflow for your mouth to lung. So when this one is open, they are fully blocked off, so you can see that I can step down the airflow and make it smaller and smaller and smaller, and really hone in and get the best possible mouth to lung airflow. It does come with a bubble glass pre-installed, which will give you 4 mils of liquid. You can also have a straight glass, which will give you 2 mils of liquid, and then you've got the regular stuff underneath, gold plated pin. That's pretty simple. So top airflow, top fill, pretty simple. Let's take a look at the deck. So this is what it looks like inside the chimney. You can see these cutouts and a circular sort of insert that will turn as I twist. So you get different airflow configurations for the mouth to lung and the direct lung setup. So that's how you move between the two. That's how you can affect the airflow without having to change the AFC. Pretty bloody cool. So this here is the deck. It's a single coil deck. You've got some Allen screws to screw your coil legs in. You simply put one lead across here, one lead across here, have the coil going straight down the middle. Airflow comes in from the side. With your restricted direct lung, you also get the airflow that comes in and goes under coil. So you can see the little hole in the center of the deck there. They're the screws that hold the legs in place. Just be aware, depending on the coil, you might have to sort of hold the leg in place to once you screw it down so the leg doesn't pop out from underneath the screw. Your wicks get stuffed down the sides here. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Very easy to install, very simple to wick, good airflow. Nothing much to it. So that was a quick look around the Arbiter Solo. Let's take a look at the packaging. Okie dokie, this is what the Arbiter packaging looks like. Made by Oxva. You get a cool picture, the name, and this one is in black. You've got the kit contents and some other stuff on the back here. Let's take a look inside. All right. So what do you receive? You get an Arbiter user manual. You get a coil and some cotton. Those are the specs on the coil. You get a bag of spares, including grub screws, Allen key. You get a spare 510 drip tip. That's a little bit more of a wider bore, a little bit more for that restricted direct lung, and spare O-rings. And you do get the straight glass that reduces the capacity to 2 mils of liquid. All right, the Arbiter Solo. Let's jump back up top, do pros, cons, price, and my recommendation. All right, so there we had a quick look around this thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it for a vape. Inside here, I have a mouth to lung fused alien from my good friend Andrew Gooley at Cloud Revolutions. I have got it on top of my swag. The Arbiter is in mouth to lung setup. It's at 18 watts. Let's take it for a rip. Absolutely rocking. Can you hear how good this coil is? Listen to the crackle on this baby. Perfection. Absolute perfection. All right, so now we've had a vape. You can see that it works, especially when you put a coil and liquid and cotton and stuff in it. What the f is wrong with me today? So let's talk about the pros and the cons, shall we? So a couple of pros for the Arbiter Solo. Let's tick off some of the big hitters, shall we? A single coil, very easy to install the coil. As you saw with the deck, it's very simple. You just put the coil in, you got some posts either side, you screw it down, you clip the leads, and away you go. Very easy to wick as well, which is kind of cool. The flavor that you get off this thing is absolutely spectacular. It's got some really, really solid flavor. Now I know that does come down to the coil and the cotton and the liquid and so on and so forth, but you need to have a condensed chamber. You need to have really good airflow in order to achieve the flavor maximum possible. The maximum flavor possible, the most amount of flavor. But you need to have all this shit in place to get the maximum flavor possible. One little thing I really enjoy about the Arbiter is the ability to change it from mouth to lung to restricted lung. So on the top here, there's a little section and you turn it and that will go into MTL or restricted direct lung, RDL. And what that does is it plays around with some stuff in the chamber, you get more airflow. There's some stuff, there's some black magic voodoo science that goes on inside here, and it changes and allows more airflow to come in. The other thing that Oxva have thought about is the airflow configuration. There is a lot of airflow configuration on this thing, and that is because you're going to need a lot. You got all these little airflow options, and the AFC moves around, and you can really fine tune it. Now I have been enjoying it in mouth to lung with just the airflow open like that, just those slots. And for me, that was the perfect amount of airflow. I've really enjoyed this, but you can tailor it to your specific needs, and that is kind of cool. They've thought about that. The other pro that I have for this thing is it's a good looking little RTA. What do you think about that? Not only is it mouth to lung, restricted direct lung, single coil, easy to install, great flavor, but it looks amazing. It's got a really good look to it. So they were the pros. Let's talk about the cons for this thing. So when using this for the last week, I haven't really found anything that I don't like. The only thing that really sort of bothered me a little bit is this AFC. It is quite loose. There is not a lot of restriction here. So it does move around a little bit. That could be tightened up with a couple of O-rings or a bigger, beefier O-ring or something like that. It's a very, very small little con, but a con nonetheless. I thought I should tell you something. Apart from that, I have absolutely loved and enjoyed this thing. I think once you nail the right coil and the right liquid and the right airflow configuration, you will not put this down, guaranteed. So let's talk about the price then. Price. What is the Oxva Arbiter Solo going to set you back? A little bit of Google food around the internet. I found it online for $35 in the States. I couldn't find it here in Australia, so you'll have to keep looking for it, and when it becomes available, I'm sure most people will stock it, so keep your eye on your local brick and mortar or online store, because I'm sure they'll have it very, very soon. Now let's get down to the rating. If I had to give this thing a rating out of best device ever, worst device ever, nothing in between, just best or worst, I am going to give it the best category ever. I'm not a mouth-to-lung RTA lover, but this thing is pretty good. Like I said, I think you need to nail the right coil with the right liquid and the right airflow, but once you've got those three things down pat, you will not put it down. It is amazing to use. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I really hope you enjoy it. Like always, please like, please share, please subscribe. And remember YouTube, keep it cloudy.